State your full name, age, date of birth, and the youngest grandson wants to know how tall you are.
My name is Willis Osborne. My date of birth is April 6th, 1940. My age is 76, and I am 5'10".
Where were you born?
I was born in Bismarck, Arkansas.
Where are your ancestors originally from?
Don't know that question.
Don't know. That's all right. Do you know anything about your family's surname?
No.
Why do we have an E on our last name?
Well, now my dad, he put an E on it, and my uncles, they spelled it with it. They didn't put the E on it. But every time they got together, they argued which one is right and which one is wrong, and we never get it solved. So I'm going with where my dad put it. He said it's supposed to have E on it. His brother said no. So my cousin spelled, they don't put an E on there. They just spell it Osborn. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I can give you. That's all I know.
That's good. How did you meet your spouse?
I met your grandmother. It was a blind date, and a friend of mine, they rode to work together. We worked at TI, and she set us up with a date, and that's how we met on a blind date.
What did you think about her?
First time I saw her, I really loved her. First time I saw her.
What was your wedding like?
Our wedding was very, very simple. It wasn't nobody there but me and your grandma, her mother and dad, and her brother.
And who was your best man at your wedding?
I didn't have a best man.
What are the names of your children, and why did you name them that?
My children are Randy Dean Osborne and William Gary Osborne. We named Randy Dean after me, and we named Gary after my dad, William. My dad was named William Taft.
What was the most unusual thing your children did on a regular basis when they were young?
Well, the most unusual, they just loved to play. They played out in the street, and they'd always running around in the street in the neighborhood. They just having a good time.
What was the most difficult thing about being a parent?
The most difficult thing is you worry about them all the time. When they get up ages, when they start driving, you worry where they're going to get in, have a wreck, get in any kind of trouble, and that's my main worry.
What are the names of your grandchildren?
Well, my oldest granddaughter, a special granddaughter, is Hannah Elizabeth Osborne. And I got two special grandsons, Gavin Osborne and Garrett Osborne.
My middle name is William. Garrett's is Taft. What are the names of your parents and a quick description about them?
My dad's name was William Taft Osborne. He didn't have any education, but he worked hard. And he was a very smart man for the education. I think he maybe went to the 3rd grade. But he was a very smart man. He could look at anything and go home and build it. And my mom, her name was Georgia Etta Osborne, and she was a hard worker. She had a little bit more education than my dad, but they both were hard workers, and they provided for us. They provided well for us.
Where are they buried now?
They both are buried in Bismarck, Arkansas.
Who were your aunts and uncles?
Well, I had some uncles on my mother's side. I had an Uncle Sam, and I had an Uncle Lee, and Uncle Ellis, Uncle Uncle Lee and Uncle Ellis was my mom's brothers. And then I had some aunts, Aunt Estelle and Aunt Murdy, Aunt Lizzie. They were my mom's sisters.
What are the names of your grandparents?
I only knew one of my grandparents. I knew my grandmother. Her name was Sarah Bradford.
Which side was she on?
She was on my mother's side.
What were the names of your siblings?
My oldest sister is named Anna Marie, and I had a sister named Mary Christine. And I had a sister Gertrude. I got a brother named Clyde.
Where have you lived throughout your life?
I was born in Bismarck, Arkansas. Then a few years later, we moved to a little place called Emmett, Arkansas. We lived there till I was in the, first grade. Then we moved to Malvern, and I lived there from the first grade until I moved to Texas.
Who influenced your life the most?
Well, my dad, up until I married, and then after I got married, my wife, my grandmother.
What is your earliest memory?
My earliest memory is, I guess, it's Christmas. We lived in Emmett, and I remember me and my dad going out and cutting a little bitty pine tree for a Christmas tree. And I thought that's a beautiful thing I ever saw.
What is your best memory?
My best memory is the day I married your grandmother.
What was fashionable clothing when you were young?
Fashionable clothing for me or just for anybody? Just,
For anybody.
well, it was just jeans, just jeans and tennis shoes. Well, we didn't have tennis shoes. It just a lot of time you go barefooted, you know.
Where did you go to elementary school?
I went to elementary school. I started at Emmett, Arkansas. Then we moved to Malvern, but I went to little school, country school at Central. In Central School, you had 3 grades in the same room. You had first, second, and third, and then fourth, fifth, and sixth, and on up. Mm-hmm. And one teacher taught 3 grades.
Where did you go to high school, and what was the name of what was the mascot?
I went to school at Malvern, and the mascot was the Leopards.
Leopards. What activities did you do in high school?
I played football, and played a little bit of basketball, and that was it.
What position did you play in football?
I played right tackle.
What position did you play in basketball?
A forward, I guess you would call it.
All right. What was your best subject in school?
I guess history.
What was your worst subject in school?
Math.
Funny thing, Nana said the exact same thing. What was your first job?
The first job was working at the theater. No, well, I guess a paper route. First job was a paper route.
What was your best job?
The best job was working at Brooks Grocery Company.
What was your worst job?
My worst job was between my junior and senior year in school. I worked at the brickyard with your grandpa. And it was a nasty, dirty job. But I was going to quit. The first day I was going to quit, and your great-grandpa told me, you're going to work. You wanted this job, and you're going to work. I have to take a belt and whip you every step you take. Do you understand me? And I said, yes, sir. And I worked.
Where did you work when you lived in Plano?
When I was in Plano, I worked for Texas Instruments. Then I worked for Board Milk Company, then I worked for MK Houseware.
Now, did you have a nickname at MK Houseware?
Rag Man.
Why'd they call you that?
Because we delivered shop towels and things like that.
What is your greatest achievement in life so far?
My greatest achievement is marrying my grandma.
What do you wish to accomplish before you die?
I want to see all my grandkids through college, high school and college.
If you could change one thing in modern society, what would it be?
Oh. I'd just change it where it be no more racial, no more killings, and no more child abuse, no more child beatings. If I could change it, that's what I'd like to see.
What do you miss most about the good old days?
What I miss good about the good old days, I just missed the friendship. You could trust everybody. You could, if they told you they're gonna meet you at a certain time, you could depend on it. And if they told you they're gonna come do something for you, they would be there. And you didn't have to worry about locking your house. You didn't have to worry about locking your car. You could just walk off and leave.
What was it like living through the wars and civil rights movements?
Well, the civil rights movements, it was a trying time. I went to an all-white school. I never had I've got nothing against blacks, but our school there was no blacks in our school. They had their own school and we had our own school. And when they had that civil rights, it was just a turmoil. You didn't know what to expect.
You were pretty close to Little Rock, where they had the first school that black and whites went together. Did that happen quickly in Malvern after that?
No, it happened. It happened about a couple years after I got out of school, and I graduated in '59. So.
What were your thoughts after Kennedy got assassinated?
It was terrible. I didn't know what was going to come with this nation, this country. It was. I was working about 2 miles from where it happened, and it was just devastating.
What was your favorite nursery rhyme as a kid?
Well, I didn't know anything about nursery rhymes. We didn't have nursery rhymes.
When did you first fly on an airplane?
Let me think. I guess my first real flight was when we went to Alaska.
You went to Alaska. When did you first have running water in your house?
I was 17, so that would make it about 56 or 57.
When did you?
What did you do to get water?
We had to draw it out of the well. Had a well in our backyard, and we'd have to go out and draw water out of the well.
When did you first have electricity in your house?
I was about 7 or 8.
When did you first get a TV in your house?
I was probably 13, 14.
Did you have a favorite TV show to watch?
I guess it was Bonanza.
Who were your best friends in school?
I had a couple of best friends. I had a guy named Sammy Freeman, and he got killed about 3 years after we graduated. And I had a good friend named D.L. Smith.
Who are your best friends now?
Guy Alvin Husky.
Did you and your friends have a special hangout when you were younger? What was the name of it and what did you do there?
Well, our favorite hangout, I don't remember. It was a truck stop out of Malvern there, and we would go over there and we'd just sit there and listen to the jukebox. We'd put quarters in it, you know. We'd just sit there and I think you could get 4 or 5 songs for a quarter. And we'd just sit there and we'd sit there and talk. But we'd all hang out. There'd be several of us go over and hang out, just sit there and talk. And
What's your favorite trip you've taken?
Alaska.
If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go?
I'd like to go to California, see the redwoods.
See the redwoods. When did you become a Christian?
That was 1972. Well, I was saved in about 61 or 62.
Where did you go to church as a child?
Well, we went to 2 or 3 different churches. Mom and Dad didn't have a car, and so a lot of times they'd have First Baptist Church would come out there to one of my friend's house, and they'd hold service, and we'd always go to it. And they'd always, every summer, they'd have, I know you probably don't know anything about it, we used to have an old brush arbor, where this preacher come in there, and he'd hold revival under a brush arbor. And I'd go to that every summer. He'd come out there every summer and hold this revival under this brush. Men would just gather out there and just put up an old brush arbor, put some poles up and put brush on top of it at the top.
In what ways have you served the church?
Well, I've served as a deacon and as a Sunday school superintendent, and I've been assistant treasurer, and I've been the chairman of the deacons, and that's about all. Is
there anything you would like to let your grandchildren and future grandchildren know?
I'd like to know that I love them very much, and I'll always back them on what they do, and I'll always love them.
Do you have any funny stories about Nana you can tell us?
Well, before we ever got married, we were going home one weekend, and that's when they had the space shuttles going over. And we was riding down the road, and I told her, I said, look there, you can see the space shuttle. We couldn't see it. I said, there goes the space shuttle. Where? And she was trying to look for it. And I also told her that I was kin to the Osborne brothers. And we were going home one weekend, and I said, my cousin may be there. I said, if I do, they'll probably sing a song for us. And she believed me till I had her believing that I was kin to the Osborne brothers. Y'all don't know who the Osborne brothers are, do you?
Ozzy Osbourne.
Huh? No.
Ozzy? No?
No.
Marie and...
No, there was a group called the Osborne Brothers. There was a country group.
Oh.
Called the Osborne Brothers. They're all dead and gone now.
Well, there's another group now called the Osborne Brothers. And they're from the East Coast as well.
Yeah, I don't know anything about them.
Well, that's all the questions we have for you. Thank you.
Thank you.